Your heart races. Your mind spirals. Every decision feels like a trap. You're drowning in what-ifs. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? Fear and anxiety aren't just emotions. They're chains. Chains. They keep you stuck in a life half-lived. But what if I told you those chains aren't real? That you've been holding the key to freedom all along? Today, we're breaking those chains. Not with force, but with wisdom. The wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Fear is a story you tell yourself. Rewrite it. Habit 1. Recognize what you control. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Fear thrives on illusion, the illusion that you're powerless. But Stoicism teaches us that your thoughts, actions, and values are yours to command. The world may throw storms at you, but you decide whether to build a shelter or stand in the rain. Think about this for a second. How many times have you found yourself consumed by fear or anxiety because of something you couldn't control? Maybe it's the uncertainty of the future, a difficult relationship, or the weight of the world's problems. Stoicism helps us see that while we can't control what happens to us, we always have control over how we respond. Life will always throw challenges our way, but we are the ones who choose how to face them. Take Ahmed's story as an example. Ahmed, a hard-working father, lost his job. The first few weeks were filled with stress and uncertainty. He lost sleep over bills, worried about what would happen to his family, and questioned his own abilities. He felt powerless. But then, something clicked. He realized that while he couldn't control the job market or the economy, he still had control over his actions. He could choose to stay stuck in fear, or he could take proactive steps to change his situation. So, he decided to upskill, network, and even explore starting a small business. The fear didn't go away overnight, but he no longer let it control him. Instead, he focused on what he could do to improve his circumstances. This shift in mindset didn't happen by chance. It was a deliberate choice to recognize that he controlled his effort, his attitude, and his ability to adapt. And that's the essence of Stoicism. Empowering ourselves by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we can't. Actionable. Step. The circle of control. Exercise. Grab a piece of paper and draw 2 circles. Label the inner circle, my control. Your effort, attitude, choices, mindset, how you treat others. Label the outer circle, outside my control, others' opinions, the past, the economy, external events. Now, reflect on the areas in your life where you've been feeling overwhelmed or anxious. For each of those areas, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If yes, write down what action you can take. If no, make a conscious decision to release it. Focus on the inner circle. Release the outer circle. By taking these small steps, you'll start to gain a sense of empowerment. Instead of reacting to life's challenges with fear, you'll begin responding with strength and clarity. Remember, you can't control everything, but you can control how you show up. And that is where your true power lies. Affirmation. I am not a victim of chaos. I am the architect of my response. Habit. 2. Practice premeditatio malorum, premeditation of fears. The Stoics didn't avoid fear, they invited it in. Seneca wrote, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power." By envisioning the worst-case scenario, you strip fear of its mystery. You realize, even if the worst happens, you'll survive. At first, this might sound counterintuitive. Why would anyone want to face their fears head-on? But the Stoics understood something powerful. Fear is far worse when it's left unexamined. It grows in the shadows, fed by uncertainty. Imagine a horror movie where the scariest part isn't the monster, it's the suspense, the unknown. The longer you wait for the jump scare, the more it terrifies you. But once you shine a light on it, once you face what you're afraid of, it loses its grip on you. Fear can only control us when we avoid it. Think about how often we worry about things that might happen, things that are entirely out of our control. We build scenarios in our minds, imagining disasters that often never come to pass. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of fears, invites us to actively engage with our worries. Instead of letting them linger in the background, we confront them directly. And when we do, we often realize something profound. The worst-case scenario, though uncomfortable, is often manageable. Take Sarah, for instance. She was terrified of losing her job and the uncertainty that would follow. Her mind spiraled, imagining the worst. But then she practiced premeditating her fears. She asked herself, what's the worst that could happen? The answer was losing her job and needing to find a new one. Then she asked, how would I recover? She realized she could lean on her network, freelance, and apply for new roles. In the worst-case scenario, she could survive and thrive. Actionable step. The what if drill. Write down your biggest fear. Be specific. Ask, what's the worst that could happen? Allow yourself to fully imagine the worst-case outcome. Ask, how would I recover? For example, if I lose my job, I'll freelance while applying for new ones. Now act as if the fear has already happened. Visualize yourself going through the worst-case scenario and coming out the other side stronger. You'll realize you're capable of handling far more than you thought. By practicing premeditatio malorum, you not only reduce the power of fear, but you also prepare yourself to face challenges head-on with clarity and confidence. The more you engage with your fears, the less control they have over you. Instead of letting them paralyze you, you'll discover that they're just another hurdle you can overcome. Affirmation. I walk through fear, not around it, and emerge unbroken. Habit. 3. Reframe obstacles as fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that for a moment. Every obstacle you face is not just a barrier, it's an invitation. It's a teacher disguised as hardship, a hidden opportunity waiting to be seized. A breakup? It's not just heartbreak, it's a lesson in self-worth, in learning to stand alone and redefine yourself. A career failure? That's not the end, it's a roadmap showing you what needs to change. Anxiety? It's not weakness, it's a sign that something within you is asking to be faced, understood, and mastered. Fear isn't your enemy, it's your compass. It points to the areas where you need to grow. The things that scare you the most often hold the key to your next level of personal evolution. But here's the trick. Instead of running from discomfort, you lean into it. You embrace the struggle, knowing that on the other side of resistance is strength. Take Lily, for example. She feared public speaking so much that even introducing herself in a room full of people made her palms sweat. For years, she avoided any situation where she had to speak in front of others. But then, she made a choice. A bold one. Instead of hiding, she joined a debate club. The first time she spoke, her voice shook. The second time, she stumbled over her words. But with every speech, every uncomfortable moment, she grew. She learned to embrace the fear, to use it as fuel instead of letting it paralyze her. Today, she leads workshops helping others conquer the very fear she once had. Did her fear disappear? No, but she learned how to make it work for her. Actionable step. The Alchemy Journal. transform your struggles into growth. Every morning, write down one fear or challenge that's weighing on your mind. Reframe it. Instead of saying, "I'm scared of this," write, "This is my chance to grow." In cruor, patience, resilience, confidence, courage, etc. At the end of the day, reflect. How did this challenge make you stronger? What did you learn? Your greatest obstacles aren't stopping you. They are shaping you. The only question is, will you use them or let them use you? Affirmation. My struggles are not setbacks, they're stepping stones. Habit 4. Embrace the present moment. Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives but from our judgments about them." Think about that. It's not what happens to us that creates pain, it's how we interpret it. We don't suffer because of traffic, deadlines, or failures. We suffer because of the stories we tell ourselves about them. Anxiety lives in the future. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if everything falls apart? Regret lives in the past. Why did I say that? Why didn't I try harder? What if I had chosen differently? But peace lives in one place only, the present moment. Yet most of us are rarely here. We live either in memories we can't change or in fears that don't exist yet. And in doing so, we waste the only time we actually have, now. Imagine two people stuck in the same traffic jam. The man in the first car is losing his mind, honking, cursing, gripping the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turn white. He's sweating. His heart is pounding. He's not late yet, but in his mind, he's already in that meeting, already seeing his boss's angry face, already imagining the worst. Now, look at the woman in the car next to him. Same traffic, same delay. But instead of stressing, she sips her coffee. She listens to a podcast. She looks at the sky and takes a deep breath. Instead of fighting the moment, she accepts it. This is my time, she thinks. She is present. And because she is present, she is free. Who do you think arrives at their destination feeling calmer, more in control? Who is truly living in that moment? Life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. And if you don't train yourself to be present, you'll spend your entire life missing it. Actionable step. The 5-4-3-2-1. Grounding technique, a simple way to bring yourself back to the present. Name 5 things you see. Name 4 things you feel. Name 3 things you hear. Name 2 things you smell. Name 1 thing you taste. Whenever your mind starts running away to the past or the future, use this technique to pull yourself back to reality. Because peace isn't something you find. It's something you choose. And that choice starts right here, right now. Affirmation. I am here. I am safe. I am enough. Habit. 5. Cultivate gratitude. Narrator. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Think about that. Wealth isn't about what you own. It's about how you see what you have. If you're always chasing the next thing, always believing happiness is just around the corner, you'll never feel fulfilled. But when you stop and appreciate what's already in front of you, you realize you have more than enough. Gratitude is the antidote to fear, comparison, and dissatisfaction. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. It reminds you of how much you've already overcome, how much you've grown, and how much you still have to be thankful for. Science backs this up. A study found that writing down just 3 things you're grateful for each day reduces anxiety by 25% in just 3 weeks. Why? Because gratitude rewires your brain. Instead of scanning for problems, it trains your mind to recognize abundance. It teaches you to see the good, even in difficult situations. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. Let's say they both lose their jobs. One person spirals into fear, focusing on everything that's going wrong. They tell themselves, "This is a disaster. I'll never recover." The other person, while still feeling the weight of the loss, shifts their perspective. They say, "This is tough, but I'm grateful for the experience I gained. I'm thankful for the skills I built. I'll find a new path." Same situation, different mindset. One person feels trapped, the other empowered. That's the power of gratitude. But gratitude isn't just a feeling. It's a practice. It's something you do, not just something you feel when things are going well, and like any skill, the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Actionable step. The gratitude jar. A simple way to make gratitude. A daily habit. Each night, write down one thing you're grateful for on a slip of paper. It can be big or small. Anything from a kind word someone said to you to the feeling of sunshine on your face. Drop the paper into a jar. On bad days, when negativity creeps in, open the jar and read a few slips. Let them remind you, "I am blessed. I have more than enough. I have already overcome so much." Gratitude isn't about ignoring life's struggles. It's about choosing to see the beauty that exists alongside them. And when you make gratitude a habit, your entire perspective and your life begins to change. Affirmation. I am rich in moments, in love, in life. Habit. 6. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed in voluntary discomfort, choosing hardship on purpose to build inner strength and resilience. This practice isn't about suffering for the sake of it, but about voluntarily stepping into discomfort to prove to yourself that you can endure. Cold showers, skipping a meal, or even sleeping on the floor, these simple acts push you out of your comfort zone and serve as constant reminders that you have the power to handle more than you think. They teach you that discomfort doesn't define you, it strengthens you. One man, terrified of failure, decided to put this philosophy into practice. He knew that to break free from the fear of rejection and failure, he had to face it head-on. He started small, by applying for jobs he knew he wasn't qualified for or would never get. Every rejection stung, yes, but it also taught him something invaluable. I can survive this. With each rejection, his fear lessened, his confidence grew, and his resilience deepened. The more he faced discomfort, the more he realized that discomfort wasn't something to fear. It was a tool for growth. Now, you might be thinking, why would I choose to put myself through discomfort? The answer is simple. It builds mental toughness. Every time you embrace discomfort, you are actively training your mind to endure challenges, to push past fears, and to become stronger in the process. Whether it's doing something physically uncomfortable, like a cold shower, or something mentally challenging, like exposing yourself to rejection, the key is consistency. Over time, this practice changes your relationship with discomfort altogether. It becomes something you welcome, not something you run from. Actionable step. The discomfort challenge. To truly integrate this into your life, commit to taking on small discomforts each day. Here's how you can start. Choose one small discomfort daily. Pick something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. It could be something physical like a cold shower, or something mental like striking up a conversation with a stranger. Embrace it fully. As you face it, remind yourself, this is making me stronger. Embrace the discomfort instead of avoiding it. Own the experience and let it teach you. Reflect on your experience. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect. How did that discomfort affect you? Did it change your perspective on how much you can handle? How did you feel afterward? You'll be surprised at how much growth happens in these moments. By consistently practicing voluntary discomfort, you'll start to see challenges in a new light, realizing that they are not obstacles, but opportunities to grow and become stronger. E2. Affirmation. I am stronger than my comfort zone. Oh. Habit 7. Limit your inputs. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wisely warned, "You become what you give your attention to." This simple truth has a profound impact on how we live our lives today. In a world constantly bombarding us with information, distractions, and negativity, we must be careful about where we focus our attention. Fear and anxiety thrive on negative inputs, whether it's the 24-hour news cycle, toxic social media, feeds, or harmful gossip. These things drain our energy, cloud our minds, and reinforce a mindset of fear and scarcity. That's why protecting your mind is critical. Think of your mind as a fortress. Guard it fiercely against anything that may try to weaken or harm it. Take, for instance, a woman struggling with constant anxiety. She felt overwhelmed, drained, and unable to focus. One day, she decided to take a bold step. She deleted all of her social media apps for an entire month. The results were remarkable. Without the constant barrage of negative headlines, comparison, traps, and mindless scrolling, she began to sleep better, think more clearly, and feel lighter. Her anxiety lessened, and she was able to reconnect with herself in a way she hadn't in years. By limiting her inputs, she gave herself the space to focus on what truly mattered. The lesson here is clear. What we expose our minds to directly influences our state of being. If we constantly feed ourselves with negativity or distraction, we begin to mirror that energy. But when we take control of our inputs, choosing to engage with positive, enriching content, we empower ourselves to cultivate peace, clarity, and resilience. Actionable step. The digital detox. To limit your inputs and reclaim your peace of mind, here's a simple challenge you can take on. Unfollow accounts that drain you. Take a moment to assess your social media feeds. Are there accounts that constantly make you feel anxious, insecure, or upset? Unfollow them. Replace them with accounts that inspire, motivate, and encourage positive thinking. Set a daily screen limit. It's easy to get lost in mindless scrolling, but being aware of your screen time is essential. Set a daily limit for social media and news consumption. Use apps that help you track your usage or set reminders when you've reached your limit. Replace scrolling with more meaningful activities. Instead of diving into your phone the moment you have free time, replace it with something that nurtures your mind and body. Read a book, go for a walk, meditate, or engage in a hobby. These activities help you reconnect with yourself and nurture your mental health. By consciously limiting your inputs and curating the content you consume, you will begin to feel the benefits almost immediately. Clearer thoughts, a more focused mind, and greater peace of mind. Affirmation. I choose peace over noise. Ewan, Section 8. Seek wisdom, not validation. Epictetus, a central figure in Stoic philosophy, once said, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows." This wisdom cuts deep, especially in our modern world where we often think we have all the answers and seek validation from others instead of striving for true understanding. Fear, more often than not, is rooted in the need for approval from friends, family, or even strangers online. In a world obsessed with likes, comments, and social recognition, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters: the pursuit of wisdom and personal growth. Stoicism, however, teaches us a different way. It encourages us to seek wisdom, not applause, and to grow for the sake of growth, not for the validation of others. Consider the story of a young man who was deeply obsessed with getting likes and approval on social media. His self-worth was tied to the number of followers and likes he received, and this constant need for external validation created anxiety and dissatisfaction. One day, he decided to take control of his life and quit social media entirely. Instead of spending his time seeking external approval, he began journaling his thoughts and experiences. One entry stood out. "Today, I lived for myself." This small but powerful shift in mindset allowed him to stop measuring his worth based on others' opinions and start valuing his own journey of self-discovery and growth. He no longer sought approval. He sought wisdom. The lesson here is clear. We must stop measuring our success by how many people approve of us and start focusing on our own growth. We don't need validation to grow. True fulfillment comes from within, from the pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, and integrity. When we stop seeking applause, we free ourselves from fear and begin to live authentically. Actionable step: the Wisdom Journal. To begin this practice in your own life, here's a simple but powerful challenge you can incorporate. Each day, write one lesson you learned. Reflect on your day and identify one key lesson you learned, whether it's something practical or philosophical. It could be a realization, an insight, or a new perspective. Ask, did I act with integrity? Take a moment to evaluate your actions. Did you act in a way that aligns with your values and principles? Integrity is the cornerstone of personal growth and wisdom. Reflect. Whose approval am I seeking, and why? Think about your motivations. Are you seeking approval from others? If so, why? What would happen if you stopped seeking validation and focused only on your own growth? By keeping a wisdom journal, you'll not only track your progress but also deepen your understanding of yourself, helping you live a life driven by wisdom rather than external validation. Affirmation. I'm enough just as I am. 1. Habit 9. Build a Stoic routine. The Stoics deeply valued discipline, seeing it as the cornerstone of a meaningful and purposeful life. One of their core practices was the establishment of routines, particularly a morning and evening routine. These routines are not just about managing time, but about setting the tone for your day and reflecting on your growth. A morning routine creates a foundation of calm and focus, while an evening routine provides an opportunity for introspection and gratitude. Take, for example, a man who was struggling with overwhelming anxiety. His thoughts were scattered, and he often felt like he was losing control of his emotions. In search of peace, he decided to implement a simple daily routine. He began each day with 5 minutes of meditation to center his mind and set intentions. At the end of the day, he would spend another 5 minutes journaling, reflecting on what he learned, and expressing gratitude for the day. Within weeks, he began to notice significant changes. He felt calmer, more focused, and better able to manage his anxiety. This consistent practice, rooted in Stoic discipline, allowed him to gain clarity and control over his thoughts and emotions. The Stoic morning routine is about preparing yourself mentally to face whatever the day may bring with composure and intention. The evening routine is about reflecting on your actions, learning from them, and expressing gratitude for the opportunities you had to grow. These small but powerful habits help to align your life with Stoic principles, living intentionally and with purpose. Actionable step: the Stoic routine. To create your own Stoic routine, follow these steps. Morning. Start your day by taking 5 minutes to meditate and focus on your breath. Then, set clear intentions for the day ahead, thinking about what you want to achieve and how you want to approach challenges. Finish by reading a Stoic quote to inspire you and guide your mindset. Evening. Before bed, take 5 minutes to reflect on the day. What did you learn? What could you have done better? Journaling these thoughts helps you evaluate your growth. Finally, express gratitude for what you've learned, the challenges you faced, and the opportunities you had to improve. By consistently following a Stoic routine, you'll start each day with a calm, clear mind, and end it with a sense of growth, reflection, and gratitude. Affirmation: I am the master of my day. Habit 10. Serve others. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This powerful reminder teaches us that by focusing on others, we can transcend our own fears, doubts, and anxieties. Fear often keeps us trapped in our own minds, but when we step outside ourselves and serve others, we begin to shift our focus and see life from a different perspective. By practicing kindness, we not only help those in need, but also strengthen our own emotional resilience and sense of purpose. Consider the story of a man struggling with deep depression. He felt isolated, lost, and consumed by his own negative thoughts. One day, he decided to take a step outside of his own troubles and volunteer at a local shelter. The simple act of helping others gave him a renewed sense of purpose and connection. It pulled him out of his own head and reminded him that he could make a difference, even in small ways. By giving his time and energy to others, he found healing, and the weight of his depression began to lift. Serving others provided him with a sense of fulfillment and helped him find a new sense of hope. The Stoics understood that the path to overcoming our fears and challenges often lies in focusing on the well-being of others. Serving others not only benefits them, but it also allows us to grow, gain perspective, and find meaning beyond our own struggles. Actionable step: the kindness challenge. To start integrating this Stoic principle into your life, take on the following. Challenge: do one act of kindness daily. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. Even small acts, like helping a neighbor, offering a compliment, or listening to someone who needs to talk, can make a huge difference. Reflect. How did it make you feel? After each act of kindness, take a moment to reflect. How did it make you feel to help someone else? Did it lift your spirits or give you a sense of purpose? Notice. How did it shift your perspective? Pay attention to how your perspective changes as you practice kindness regularly. Did it take your focus off your own worries? Did it help you see the world in a more positive light? By incorporating kindness into your daily life, you'll not only uplift others but also create a sense of purpose and fulfillment that diminishes fear and anxiety. Serving others is a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation. Affirmation: I am here to lift others, and in doing so, I lift myself. Conclusion: the Stoic path to fearlessness. You were never meant to live small, to suffocate under the weight of safety. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago. A life ruled by fear is no life at all. But you, yes, you, have everything you need to rise, to look your anxieties in the eye and say, "Is that all you've got?" The road won't be easy. Some days, fear will whisper, "You can't." On those days, whisper back, "Watch me." Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the triumph over it. If this video ignited something in you, don't let it fade. Hit subscribe. Share it with one person who needs this message, and tomorrow, when fear knocks, remember, you've already won. You're a Stoic. You endure. You overcome. You thrive.